If God has placed it on your heart to start a Christian clothing brand, well, you clicked on the right video, because in today's video, I'm going to walk you through step by step on how to start a successful Christian clothing brand this year. Now, if you're new here, my name is Antonio and I am the proud owner of Prayed Up Apparel. And I started this clothing brand just last year, and I started from zero and was able to take this clothing brand to over $100,000 in sales in just 1 year. And you could say that I learned a lot over the course of last year, and I just want to share with you all that I learned so you can get started a lot easier than I did. So if you have any questions throughout the video, please do not hesitate to comment. I try to answer every single comment that I get. And if you get value out of this video, make sure that you like and subscribe so other people that are interested in starting a Christian clothing brand can see this video as well. So first things first, the very first thing that you want to do is take time and develop your brand identity. Figure out who you want to be as a brand. And this is so important. And this is something that I wish I personally would have spent a little bit more time on, trying to get really clear on who we were as a brand. But finally, I really sat down. I was like, okay, for me, my brand, our mission statement is that we are more than just clothes. It is a mission, okay? And our mission really is to get non-believers to Jesus through fashion. So everything that we do on our social media, website, emails, all of our, you would say, quote unquote, marketing materials is all centered around that. We want to create the best pieces that non-believers want to wear it, okay? That is our mission. That is our values. And so you want to figure out for yourself, what is your mission? What is your values? What do you want to do in this Christian clothing brand space, okay? And that is really going to help you, be different from other Christian clothing brands. And I truly believe God has created us wonderfully and differently. We're all different. We all bring something different to the table. And so you want to think about what you can do to bring something different to the Christian clothing brand space and how your brand is a representation of that. So the second step that you need to take now is you want to figure out your brand name, your brand logo, your brand colors, and start to secure all your social media handles. And if I'm being very honest with you, I had a very, very hard time trying to figure out a name for my clothing brand. I just landed on Prayed Up Apparel because pretty much everything that I could think of was already taken. All the good names that I could think of, they were taken. So you may have a hard time trying to figure out a name that works best for your clothing brand. So I recommend that you get very, very creative. And if you think of something that's fire, I definitely recommend that you go ahead and set up that email, that Gmail, right? Get your Instagram, get your TikTok, get all this ASAP, because trust and believe somebody is thinking about it also, and they're going to take it right from under you. And then also definitely make sure that that website domain is available as well. You can go on GoDaddy or domains.com to check and see if that domain is available. Now, you don't need to buy it through them. I recommend that you buy your website domain through Shopify. That's what I did. And honestly, when it comes to web hosting, I love Shopify. I've been using Shopify for a very, very long time. I'd recommend using Shopify, and I'll link my free trial Shopify link in the description down below. But yeah, you definitely want to secure everything, your domain, your social media handles, ASAP. Now, the third step is figuring out your designs. And you want to figure out how many pieces you want to create for your first collection. Now, there is no right or wrong way to go about this. It really all depends on your level of expertise within the fashion space, understanding your audience, right? And then how much money you have, okay? And if you have a lot of money and you want to go all out for your first collection, God bless you. I support you 100%. But if you're asking me my personal opinion, I don't recommend that you do it. big dog. I really don't. Okay? Because 9 times out of 10, you won't really know what will resonate with your audience. And the worst thing that you want to do is try to create 5 to 6 pieces and 5 of them flop. And now you have all this inventory and, you know, it takes you forever to get up off of it. And it's probably going to put a sour taste in your mouth, right? So I personally recommend that you start with 1 or 2 pieces, and those pieces should be inspired by something that you're already seeing in the space that you know that is working. Okay, that is the safest play that you can make with your Christian clothing brand to make sure that it's successful. And then after you have your first drop or these first 2 designs, then you can start playing and testing out different, you know, materials and all this other stuff. You can get creative a little bit later, but up front, you really want to keep your design simple and based off of something that you know already works. And then 2, when it comes to designs, if you're not aware, the more creativity, the more crazy the design, the more expensive it is to get that design manufactured, okay? So if you're trying to do puff print, or if you're trying to do like the raw denim cut or cut and sew, those pieces are a lot more expensive to get produced. And so you definitely want to think about your budget, okay? And so I recommend keeping it as simple as possible with your first, you know, piece. Like for me, I kept it real simple. It was, you know, white and then 1 color, okay? It was red, or black tee and then white print, okay? I would keep it 1 to 2 colors max for your first design, so you're not coming, you know, straight out of pocket. And I would keep the design text based, okay? But again, you can do what you want to do, but if you're trying to be cost efficient, keep it simple. Now, the next step that you want to do after you have your designs made is create your mock-ups and figure out your manufacturing. And so when it comes to creating your mock-ups, you can do this in a bunch of ways. You can go to the brandbible.com. They already have pre-made mock-up t-shirt mock-ups and hoodie mock-ups, and all you have to do is slap your design on it through like Photoshop or Canva, and you're good to go. Also, you can actually go to people that make the blank. So for example, if you know you want your blank to be a Shakaware tee, you can go to shakaware.com and pull the images from Shakaware, like their t-shirts, and then slap your design on that as well. Or if you have a little bit money to invest, you can go to creativemarket.com, and they sell t-shirt mock-ups from everything that you can imagine. They have Shakaware, Rue Porter, American Apparel, all the blanks that are really, really high quality, and you can do that. So you could do it for free, you could pay for mock-ups, but essentially you just want to give something to your manufacturer so they can get a gist of what your design should look like, okay? Now, when it comes to manufacturing, there's a lot of ways that you can get your clothes manufactured, okay? Now, there is the pre-made route, which means you buy the inventory up front, okay? That is the first way. Now, if you can do pre-made, if you can get your garments pre-made in advance, I would recommend that, okay? In years past, you know, you could have 2-3 month wait times and people wouldn't care, but now people want their clothing like tomorrow, okay? They want their clothes ASAP. So if you can get your stuff pre-made, I would recommend it. Now, there are different ways to go about getting your clothes pre-made. You can go overseas, or you can go, you know, here stateside. Now, when it comes to costs, getting your clothing manufactured overseas is gonna be the cheapest route, especially if you're buying in bulk. And you can find really, really good manufacturers through Alibaba. Now, I would recommend that you stay away from Pakistan. They do have some quality control issues, but most China-based manufacturers do really, really good work, and they give you a lot of fair prices. I would recommend, if this is your first drop, to stay with a stateside manufacturer or a local manufacturer. And here's why. Because if anything goes wrong with your design or with your garment, right, you can go to a local manufacturer and they'll make sure that it's replaced or taken care of. So even though that you're gonna spend more money up front than you would if you went with the overseas manufacturer, if it's your first drop, just do stateside. You know, don't really worry about the money or the profit. Just make sure that you know what the design is supposed to look like, what the quality of the shirt or hoodie is supposed to look like, and just pay a little bit more to have that, you know, faster ship time. And, you know, you can really work with the manufacturer over here to make sure you really master the product before you try to work with an overseas manufacturer, and the headaches that, you know, entail with that. Now, another option for manufacturing is print on demand. And this is where you don't actually house any inventory and everything is pretty much made to order. And this is a very cost-efficient way to get your clothes produced. And honestly, this is one of the best ways that I recommend that people start, because you don't need any money up front and you only pay the manufacturer after someone has purchased your clothes. Now, there are a lot of companies that do print on demand. There's Printful, there's Printify, there's Awkward Styles. There's a lot of print on demand companies, but I do recommend that if you can, work with a local manufacturer that offers print on demand. Okay, again, with the local manufacturer, if anything is wrong with your order or, you know, your customers have any issues, you can have a really good relationship with them. Okay, so I would definitely recommend that you find a local print shop that offers print on demand in your area. Or you can work with a lot of print shops that are based in like Cali or New York or Atlanta, that aren't these massive companies, but they're print shops that do offer print on demand. And I find that these local print shops can do a lot more customization. It's just going to be a little bit more expensive. So you do have to figure out your margins when it comes to pricing your shirts. But overall, print on demand is a great way to get started with, you know, low cost up front. Now, this next step is really where the fun begins, and you start to realize, okay, I have a clothing brand, and that is getting your sample from your manufacturer. Okay, and this is a very important step because you want to understand the quality of your garment. You really want to understand the print. If there's any changes that need to be made, you can go back to your manufacturer and make these tweaks. Okay, the worst thing that you can do is, you know, tell your manufacturer to print all these shirts and you get it back and you don't like it. Okay, so for every piece that you decide to drop, make sure that you get a sample. I know for me, I made the mistake of not getting a sample and just trusting my manufacturer after I sent the mock-up, and it looked totally different than what I thought it would look like. And I was out of like $500 and I was really, really upset. But I couldn't blame anybody but myself because I didn't get a sample. So please, please, please don't make that mistake. And then once you get your sample, it is really game on. You can start taking pictures of this sample to post on your website. You can start, you know, teasing this sample, especially if, you know, you feel comfortable with it. Right? Start posting this sample on social media. You're really in a good space to start to launch your brand. So the very last step when it comes to starting a successful Christian clothing brand is really developing your marketing strategy. And without a marketing strategy, it's going to be very, very, very difficult for you to see any success with your clothing brand. So if you want to learn the 5 best ways to market your clothing brand this year, I recommend that you check out this video right here.